Louisiana's coastal wetlands have suffered greatly over the last few years. Hurricanes like Katrina, Rita, Ike, and Gustav have battered the fragile coast, while the world's largest oil spill in 2010 added insult to injury. But in reality, the destruction of Louisiana's precious wetlands began long before these recent events. Cypress harvesting, pipeline canals, and man's attempt to control the floodwaters of the Mississippi have all contributed to a loss of coastline, which now amounts to about 25 to 30 square miles a year, or about one football field every 15 minutes. It's a problem of monumental proportion that affects everyone, even motorcyclists. That's why a group of Houma area riders invited us to take a coastal tour with them, to see what is happening to South Louisiana's coastal wetlands and to view firsthand some of the efforts underway to slow this devastating loss. Heading south from the local Honda dealership in Houma, ride leader Neil Groh, president of the Houma chapter of the Motorcycle Awareness Campaign, as well as local MAC members Beryl LaBeouf and Glenn and Merrill Mathern and their son Daniel, took us on a motorcycle tour of Lower Terrebonne Parish. There's really no better way to see this part of South Louisiana than from the seat of a motorcycle, and this was the perfect day for a ride. Mild temperatures, blue skies, and clouds like cotton candy. As we headed south, it quickly became apparent just how important water is to this area. Here, commercial and sport fishermen, as well as the oil industry and shipbuilding, coexist, all benefiting from the wonderful balance that exists between fresh and salt water in this part of the world. But as we rode further south into the marshlands, we could see evidence of saltwater intrusion everywhere. Dead and dying vegetation, once stately oak and cypress trees, now reduced to pale skeletons. And as the vegetation dies, the land erodes with it. A vicious cycle that is evident almost everywhere you look, especially here at Pointe-aux-Chênes.
You can see like the saltwater intrusion. This used to be all green, and this is marsh behind us, and you can see some of the cypress trees are dying from the saltwater intrusion. Because, a lot of people that have mountains, y'all go ride all over, they have the scenery, and this is our scenery. We like to come ride out here, and a lot of people don't even know what an alligator looks like in a wild, but people can come over here and see all that.
But less than a mile away, we found a group of people who are working tirelessly to restore Louisiana's fragile coast. And they're doing it one tiny blade of marsh grass at a time.
Planting these islands, these floating islands, and they're taking this grass, putting it in that mulch, and they'll tie these things together, and you see them floating out there. Then they'll bring them around and get up next to that line of grass, and then that'll catch the sediment, and it'll start building land.
It is called the Ile de Jean Charles Floating Islands Project, a joint effort of America's Wetland Foundation, the Coastal Conservation Association, Shell, Entergy, and the Terrebonne Parish government. Spokesman Ed Landgraf says the idea behind the project is really a very simple one.
What this project is designed to do is to help sustain what marshland is left. And if you look behind me, you'll see basically this small sliver of marsh that is the only part of the wetlands that is left right here in this bay area. The mat material that you see here is made out of recycled Coke bottles. And the plastic, it's almost like a large Brillo pad, and as the holes we put the plants in the holes with peat moss, and it permeates through the bottom and attaches to the water bottom, and then attaches to the existing marsh. And so what we hope to accomplish is to have this area that you see here all one large piece of marsh, and it's going to sustain itself by the plants and the root system that's coming out the bottom. These are anchored in, so it's also going to help in storm surge and kind of inclement weather situations from keeping the marsh from breaking up.
Martin Ecosystems of Baton Rouge, the company that's installing the floating islands with the help of these volunteers, will monitor the effectiveness of this project over the next year. Like coastal erosion itself, it is a slow process, but hopefully a process that will provide a new weapon in the fight against land loss in Louisiana and America's wetlands. And perhaps someday soon, motorcycle riders will see land where today there is only water. For LA Rider, I'm Bob Courtney.